I'm not gonna lie to you. I grew up
Mm-hmm.
looking at MTV Grind. I don't know if you remember that show. So you had
Mm-hmm.
everybody there dancing, doing their thing, and I was just looking at all of these videos, just liking, the Black American guy. And to everyone, just a side note, to everyone asking, why didn't you get a German man? Why didn't want these Turks didn't want to marry you? It's because I always wanted to have a Black American man, and I got one.
Is
Very
that
very
right? So
yes.
you were enamored with black men just from what you saw on TV?
Yes, absolutely. But to answer your question, what
Sure.
intrigued me about him was absolutely everything. He was wearing his do-rag. He was wearing his hat. It's the early 2000s. He was wearing his wife beater, his jeans, his Timbs. And I was like, that's it. That's it. That's the man
Mm.
that I want. That's the man that I want to be with. And I don't care who comes across me. I'm going to compete for that man. I'm going to do what I got to do. I got to get that man. So,
Let's talk through it. Let's talk through it.
okay.
So I like the confidence on the initial. I don't got no competition. Well, you didn't say it like that, but in so many words. Break that part down first
Okay.
and foremost.
Yes, sure. First, it all starts with me not determining my sexual marketplace value. My husband did it back then. So I kind of knew that I didn't have any competition because I was so different compared to what he dated and who he dated before, right?
Mhm.
So, he dates American women, obviously, most of the time since he's American. And me being this Turkish girl, 18 years old back then, being
Mhm.
in his environment, being in Philly, look different, I talk different, my demeanor, my energy, and everything is different. And from his reactions towards me, who I am, and what I brought into his life as far as my energy and stuff like that, he kind of let me know, look, listen, I've never met anyone like you before.
Okay.
And I was
Okay.
not even doing anything above and beyond. I was just being myself. So everything you hear in that video is what I would do on a daily basis.
Okay.
The reason
Okay.
why I said there is no competition because he let me know that there was no competition.
Understood. Okay. And for context, so you're Turkish. You did
Mhm.
you grow up in Germany?
Yes, I was born and raised in Germany. My
Okay.
parents immigrated to Germany in the late 70s.
Gotcha. So you were the first generation German.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of your family. And you met your husband in Philly or he was in Germany?
No, I was in Philly and I met him in 2001.
Okay. What brought you to Philly?
Well, there is a whole YouTube video about that, but long
Mm-hmm.
story short, I went to America because I always wanted to see America, and you have
Sure.
to understand, growing up in Germany, the hip hop culture is huge. The love for, the American culture is just huge. But we don't have that much access to Americans or the American culture here in Germany. So I always wanted to go see America, which I did. I was in New York, then I was in Philly, and I got introduced to my husband through a mutual friend. And yeah, I'll never forget that day. It was amazing. That's how we met.
Okay. Wow. So you were 18. How old was he?
He was 21.
Okay. And his experience was poor, for lack of a better term, with American women?
Or, I mean, those
Difficult?
were his experiences. Let's just say he experienced different things than he did with me. He experienced a lot of entitlement. He experienced a lot of attitude, a lot of, if you don't do certain things for me, I'm not even going to waste my time with you.
Okay.
And yeah, and he didn't like it, obviously. And I always keep saying average man. I say that because majority of us are average. We don't make
Hmm.
those six figures that easily, or especially not
Yeah.
at the age of 21.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying average. But yes, so he really didn't have that good experiences.
Okay. Yeah. And the majority of people are average. So when I heard you say he was average in the video, that's not insulting. That's realistic, right?
Exactly. And
Um.
you got women talking to me like, "Oh, you calling your man average?" But at the end of the day, that man means the world to me. I
Okay.
after 23 years of a relationship, I still have butterflies in my stomach when I see that man. We've
Okay.
been married for 15 years. I say average because he had average money back in the day. He was 21, coming from an average family. You have an average job, you got your average car. He wasn't driving a Bentley. A lot of women that I know that are 18, 19, 20, they probably wouldn't even look at him. He would have been
Okay.
overlooked because women are
Yeah.
striving for other things.
Got you. Now, do you come from an affluent family?
Uh-huh.
How you say it? Like, does your family come from good money or wealth or anything of that nature?
Well, my father is a very famous, well-known Turkish artist. So
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say we're super rich or millionaires or anything like that, but
Mhm.
let's just say that we have a pretty good
Yeah, stable, good environment.
stable,
Yeah, I mean, you
yes,
were able to like at 18 to come to America, right? Which
yes,
I would argue, I would venture isn't cheap. Go to New
yes,
York City, which is not cheap. Go down to
right.
Philly, which is not cheap, right? Just the East Coast in general. Okay.
Mhm.
And so what was it about that man that just had you infatuated?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I grew up
Hmm.
looking at MTV Grind. I don't know if you remember that show. So you had
Hmm.
everybody dancing, doing their thing, and I was just looking at all of these videos, just liking, the Black American guy. And to everyone, just a side note, to everyone asking, why didn't you get a German man? Why didn't want these Turks didn't want to marry you? It's because I always wanted to have a Black American man, and I got one.
Is
Very,
that
very,
right? So
yes.
you were enamored with black men just from what you saw on TV?
Yes, absolutely. But to answer your question, what
Sure.
intrigued me about him was absolutely everything. He was wearing his do-rag. He was wearing his hat. It's the early 2000s. He was wearing his wife beater, his jeans, his Timbs. And I was like, that's it. That's it. That's the man
Mm.
that I want. That's the man that I want to be with. And I don't care who comes across me. I'm going to compete for that man. I'm going to do what I got to do. I got to get that man. So
Okay. All right. So what was the artist that you saw in your husband? So what was the artist that you saw on TV that was your you know what I mean? Your dream guy. Like who was it? Was it Method Man? Who was it?
wow, it's funny that you mentioned Method Man because Method Man was actually one of the artists that I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. But do you know Jagged Edge and do you know the Twins?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just like the full face. And there's another German rapper. His name is Semi Deluxe, and my husband was basically a perfect mixture out of all three of them. And that's kind of the kind that I was attracted to. And when I saw him, my husband, I'm just like, wow, he's just everything that I've been ever looking for as far
Gotcha.
as it looks, because that's the first thing you see when you see someone. It's the
Yeah.
looks. And
Yeah.
when we got to know each other, everything else just clicked and fit, and it was perfect.
Wow, that is interesting. One correlation I drew, and I could be 100% wrong. In Philly, there's a large population of Muslims that are Black American.
Hmm.
Is that your background also?
Yes.
Okay. Is he Muslim?
No, he's not.
Okay, all right. That's just a correlation. I'll just a slight assumption. The
Hmm.
beard, you got a lot of bearded Muslims in Philly for sure. Okay. Does he have a religious basis?
No, he really doesn't believe. No, he's
No.
just kind of he's into science. So he's like, if I can't see it, I'm going to have a hard time believing it.
Okay. And so you were with him from 18 till now?
Yes.
Man. So
Yeah.
when the statement was made in the video, just because you guys were so young, he had that much poor experience with the women around him that you were that much of a breath of fresh air, or does he come from a particular type of household construct?
I mean, I would say it was a mixture of both.
Okay.
Of course, I don't even know at the age he started dating at the age of 16. I think that would be like the average age for someone to start dating, getting to know,
Sure.
women, men, whatever. But as far as like the family that he grew up in a single mother household, average family. I hear people saying, "Oh, you got the bottom of the barrel from the ghetto and stuff like that." No, that was not even the case. But me coming from a traditional two-parent household, I realized real quick that something is not looking right, and it was not just with his family; it was like with other people too, white people, that I got introduced to. And I also got introduced to millionaires. And I'm just thinking to myself, how is it that they function? I saw a lot of similarities in their household, like
Okay.
mine, like I had. But I didn't really sense that in other households, the average
Okay.
family. And I was like, wow,
Okay.
crazy.
But does he comes from a two parent
No, single mother household.
single mother household? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that the difference in you and the other women is highlighted so much. I'm just trying to figure out how much experience it could it possibly be, even at that young age.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of stereotypical things. I play football, I
Mm-hmm.
DJ, I'm in a fraternity, etc. So, women tend to like those things. So I had a decent amount of access to women, but even at 21, I don't know if I could make a determination of how good these women are, how bad how good and bad, just because I'm so young. Like how much did I actually know? You
Right.
know, um, now in the video in particular, the one that we're mining out, right? It was mentioned. It said especially the black households.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get that information from at such a young age? Him included, being so young, just from him specifically.
No, I lived in America for 2 years. You know,
Okay,
like I said, you get introduced to a lot of people. You
sure,
know, it was not like I was only introduced to his family. You know, it was
got
like
you.
friends, his friends. Then I was out myself, and I got introduced to other females and their families. You know, and that's
Mhm.
basically the time period where I was able to collect my observations. I was just looking at things, and they were just so different to what I was used to. That's why I made that statement. And I didn't say anything like the average black household doesn't have any family unit. I did not say that. I specifically said the average the average black family barely has a family unit. I was used to something else, and I just made the comparison. That's something that I have seen, and I was like, wow,
Mhm.
why is it like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You didn't say it was non-existent, but barely would be pretty close. So could you empathize with how people could take exception with that statement?
Mhm. Well, mostly it was single mother households.
Okay.
When the baby daddy was around and the children were around, I just saw a lot of dysfunction, a lot of disrespect, a lot of interaction that didn't feel right, amongst
Hmm.
them. And I
Okay.
didn't really see no breakfast, lunch, dinner. And there were people around in the house, but everybody kind of kept to themselves. There was
Hmm.
barely any interaction. And I was like, okay, why are we not talking to each other? Why is nobody saying, hey, how was your day? Even like towards me. And I was
Hmm.
new there. I didn't expect anybody to roll out the red carpet or anything. But
Yeah.
if I have somebody that's new coming into my house and my environment, I would at least be like, hey, how you doing? How are you? But it
You-
seems like nobody really cared about one another. That was felt so cold.
Damn. So like make a first impression essentially,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And what part of the country were you in?
What, me right now?
No, no, sorry. When you were in the 2 years you were here, when you gained this experience,
Oh, I was in Philly, New York, New Jersey, but mainly in Philly.
mainly in Philly. Okay.
Hmm.
And you saw that construct, which made you, kind of have that sentiment, so to speak.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
okay. And so when you make the differentiation with the are you making a differentiation between Western women, American women, German women? Like what are the dividing factors that make the German woman maybe a better catch?
I wouldn't say German woman. I know the
Okay.
internet knows me for the German lady, but
Yeah.
I just live in Germany. I have a German ID. I'm Turkish, and when I speak in my videos, I'm mainly talking about modern Western women and the traditional woman.
Hmm.
I see these discrepancies, and I would just love for these traditional values and morals to be brought into to women's life a little bit more, because we just have so much power when it comes to practicing these traditional values, which have huge impact on our man and on the household, children, and everyone in your environment.
Okay. All right. Yep. So good. Cause I think I knew that. I just want to make sure you're able to say it here because I was looking at different things, right? Where you can make a determination even without anecdotal experience. So the divorce rate here is 42%. In Germany is 35%.
Mm-hmm.
You know,